What if I told you that today I'm going to give you access to one of the finest, one of the best artists in the world? Yes, it's true. And what if I told you, you can you imagine yourself laying on a Roman couch and someone holding grapes up over your mouth and just dropping grapes into your mouth and feeding you grapes. I dream about things like that. No, I don't really. Today we have Stephanie Clark, and Stephanie is going to teach you about grapes. And grapes, they seem like they would be really simple, and they are. But imagine trying to get the grapes that have that really wonderful sense of being real. We're going to teach you about that today with Stephanie Clark. Stephanie is in New South Wales in Australia,
Good
and it's
morning.
2 o'clock in the morning. You are a trooper.
Thank you. I'm pleased to be here. I'll paint any time of the day or night. I love to paint. I really don't mind painting anytime.
Well, you just had a whirlwind tour. You went to 𝗖𝗹𝗿𝗀𝗃 in
I did.
Albuquerque and taught there, and then you've been on a workshop tour around America, and you just
Yes.
returned. So welcome back.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's a beautiful country. I'm definitely going to be popping over to the US more often.
So what is it about grapes? What is it about making them look realistic?
Look, there's something about grapes that are super special for me. I have always been a fruit and floral artist, but there's something about grapes. Each grape is very unique and it has its own character. And some grapes can be really sweet, and I mean in taste and also in character. And other grapes can be an absolute menace. So sometimes I can spend 20 minutes on one grape getting it perfect, and other grapes will just do what, and you will see me create a bunch of grapes that has a lot of character. So with grapes, I think there's so much play with color. I think we can exaggerate color, but first and foremost, with any grape, it's about light and composition. So that's where we'll be starting the demo today, is light and composition, and then showing you how that you, in order to portray a beautiful bunch of grapes, you don't have to tell every single grape. You can suggest, you can shine the light here and tell your story throughout that bunch.
So one of the things I'm curious about, what medium are you going to paint them in?
I'm painting in soft pastels. These are my
Soft pastel.
true love. Soft pastel, absolute,
Okay.
or pastel.
So
After
let's
a
talk
month,
about that. If somebody is a beginner,
yes,
and they want to learn how to paint
yep,
anything,
yeah.
uh, what would you say? What is the best medium to start painting in?
I would say soft pastels are an absolute perfect for beginners because, for one thing, they are super forgiving. You can have a piece of paper and you can reuse that piece of paper. You can wipe them out. You can um, reposition the colors. But our color choices are made for us, which is absolutely lovely. And you can mix colors, and I will be showing you how to do all that today.
But you don't have to learn how to mix colors. You don't have to learn how to put red and blue together to create purple. You're actually just
Absolutely,
picking up a
yeah,
stick. Well, I think people are going to like this today. Stephanie, why don't you just go
absolutely.
right ahead?
Thank you. All righty. I will just switch my camera.
I'll tell you what, while you're doing that, we'll get the
Yeah.
show officially started.
It's Art School Live with Eric Rhodes.
Our guest today is Stephanie Clark, and she's going to be teaching you how to paint grapes. She does incredible grapes, and you're going to learn a little bit about that and doing it in pastel. If you're not a pastel painter, watch it anyway, because you're going to learn a little bit about how it's done and how you can apply that to your medium. Okay, Stephanie, take it away.
Okay. So these are the grapes that I sent my husband down to the supermarket to buy. And I am going to just quickly show you. I'm on a smooth surface, and I work from my background to my foreground. So I've just set up a little bunch. And I have blurred the background out just in Procreate to give myself a nice, easy composition in the background. Now I'm going to put my background colors in first, and I have decided that the the light is coming from the top. So I'm going to quickly put a bit of a background in on my pastels. And this is where going from value from dark to light is absolutely so perfect with pastels. So I'll just quickly show you the colors that I'm using over here. You don't have to mix the colors. The colors are done. The pastel makers do all the hard work for us. And they have put together some beautiful values for us to mix. You can, I smush it into the pastel mat first. This is just my process on how to mix my colors, how I want my colors to look on the page. So I'm looking for dark and light. I'm looking for where my shadows are going to sit. It's much darker down in this little corner here, so I'll just get some lovely darks going on in here. And you can see by glazing and going over with different values of pastel, you can make the most beautiful colors, really, really beautiful colors. Now in here is where I want to put that shot of light. So I'm just going to find something that's nice, and I'm thinking something a little pink to sit my pastels on. What do you think? I think that might be a bit nice. And it's just a suggestion with the way that I paint. I think most things are just a suggestion with me. I do love a good impressionist. So I'm just going to show you how, firstly, I put my backgrounds in and, you know, basically get the stage set for my my bunch of grapes to go in. Yeah. So I like to, depending on the paper as well, you can, with the paper that I use Pastel Mat, and you can, honestly, I can get 30, 40 layers of pastel onto the pastel mat. And this is really handy when we are painting grapes especially.
Do you have any fingerprints left after rubbing it on that rough paper?
No, it's smooth. This paper is smooth.
Okay.
Yeah, it's lovely and smooth. If I use a hard paper, I always wear a glove because yes, it will take your fingerprints right off. So I'm just going to suggest just a little bit of you can see how lovely, just how lovely this pastel is. You know, you can push it in, you can create shadow. So pretty much that's my little background just there. So we'll just tidy everything up again now. Now, when I'm painting grapes, one of the most important things to remember, firstly, is where is your light source, of course. So my light source is coming down from here. But one of the most important things is, what about the shapes and the colors and the story that you want to tell with your grapes? So I guess one of the most important things for me is to make sure that I have that story set in my background. Now, I want these little shots of light to come through here. So I'm looking at what's behind before I even start popping in any detail. I'm looking at where the light is, where the story is that I want to tell with the light story, but also where I want those lights to shine. And, you know, sometimes, I don't know about you, but sometimes when I'm painting, I have a plan in mind and then it completely changes. And
that happens.
yeah. And,
So
you know,
there's a
I might.
question from somebody who asked, when you do wear gloves, what kind of gloves do you wear? Just rubber gloves?
Oh, I do. I just wear rubber gloves. My daughter is a hairdresser and she supplies me with those fantastic gloves that the girls use, or the hairdressers use, to do color. So they fit like a surgical glove. They're beautiful. Yeah. So just a black glove really is what I use. Okay, so that's a pretty busy, but you know we'll work with that. Okay, so there's our little background. I've got my light source in there. I've got everything I think I need. I'm happy with where the light is coming through. Then maybe I may just have to need to dash that up a little bit to show the shadows, but we can sort that out once we've got our values in. Now, when I start, I always think any bunch of grapes, if you pick it up by the stem, it will look like South Africa or South America. So I have to decide whether I want it to be, and I'm going to start making marks for the grapes that I see right up the back. So this is now I'm working on my mid ground, and I'm kind of putting in little strokes, and I'm going lovely and dark. This is the a beautiful deep purple. And I start thinking, okay, South America or South Africa? And that's the shape that we're kind of aiming for. Okay, so there's a lovely little, just where that light's shining there, there's a lovely dark grape just sitting beside that. So I just need to make sure that I've got everything in the right spot. And I'm just going to, with a couple of darks, I love to use a dark purple and a dark blue to sort of give me some depth to those grapes. And sometimes just using that circular motion to create a little grape sitting out there. What do you think? I reckon this one kind of looks like it could come, maybe one or two. I don't paint every single grape either. I kind of just maneuver it to how I want it to look. At some point, we stop looking at this and we start looking at that. So the light source is coming down. So my little shadows are just going, this is the beauty of pastel is, look how easy this is maneuvered around. It's just, you know, you pop your finger in there and you can sit those grapes down and you can start creating a nice little bunch of grapes already there with, you know, 6 or 7 strokes, really. So I'm going to just, what do you think? I reckon we need one up here. We might just do one little, and then once I've got my plan, my, you know, where things are going to sit, then I can start thinking, okay, so I'm going to go up a couple of values and start building my grapes from the back to the front. So I'm not going to do this grape here first. I have to do those ones right up the back. So observation is key. So I'm looking at something, you know, maybe to create 1 or 2 that are right up the back. So here we go. Just 2 or 3 values. I think we might, and have a look how easy and how maneuverable pastels are just by popping in you know, that change in value. I'm really looking for something a little, look at the colors that are in there, and our color choices are perfect because the pastel makers have done a great job and created lots of different pastels for us to play with, which is fabulous. But this can be this same process, and I do paint in oil as well, and this process can be applied to oil painting. It can be applied to most mediums. So, you know, it's art is so adaptable to each medium, isn't it? So I'm going to now just start pulling in some of the colors that I see. So I'm just going to block in and give my eye a little bit of a build on where the main grapes are going to be and where the story of the light that I want to tell is going to happen. So I think, look at this beautiful light out here. I think I'm going to bring in a little bit of light. There's lots of different papers you can use in pastel as well. Pastel makers, pastel papers are, you know, you can get some sanded papers, which are lovely. They give great texture as well. So there are lots of different options. So you can see how the grapes are starting to build, and you know, kind of looking at where I see the light. I really love those pink undertones in this.
What's wonderful is you can get this intensity of color
Yes.
and lay it over the other. It's just
Yeah.
stunning.
Now you'll see too that in my background, I did a lot of rubbing. Now at this stage, all the rubbing stops. If you want to keep your paintings fresh and keep them neat and tidy, it's just a glaze now. So you let the pastel do its magic and you work color over color over color. So it is something that with pastel is, and in grapes especially, it is something that you can, really enjoy the process of looking how you build the layer. I find painting grapes quite therapeutic because you let the pastel just dance over the top of the color underneath, and the beauty that comes out is incredible. Now you can see already just on this little grape how many layers I've put in, but I just want to show you just by building from dark to light, which is definitely how we go in. That's how we roll in pastel, is dark to light. And I'm going to put just a kiss of turquoise, because what's a grape without turquoise?
That's right.
And then showing my light, I'm just going to start showing you where my light's going to sit and start leading you down to where that goes. What do you think? I reckon that needs a little bit of yellow. My eye's saying, if you're going to put that bright pink, show me where the yellow is as well. So
You're making me
that's
hungry.
good job. So now I'm just going to start building, See this beautiful orange one up the back? I'm going to build, and I'm building on top of all those gorgeous darks. Those darks end up being, those marks that we make quite often end up being just absolutely perfect for mid-ground and for negative space. Like, they're doing all the hard work for us, but still, see this, to me, that's just a little bit of gold, that little background section just there poking through. It creates depth in our art, and it's just magic. I just think it's magic. So having your grapes at different angles is really interesting as well. Like, it's lovely to find a grape that you think, oh, I like the way that one's sitting, so let's maybe do that. I'm really loving these yellowy greens that are coming out. They may not necessarily be in here, but that's the beauty of that really is the beauty of what we're doing with pastel, is we get to decide where things sit. And we use our reference photo. I use a reference photo very loosely. I love to use a reference photo just as a shape, just where the light's hitting. Look at this little one over here. I'm just going to build the layers. But if I want to, blend a pastel together, it's really important that you do it with another pastel, not with your fingers at this stage, because otherwise you can run into the issue of mud. And I think that's where a lot of beginners go adrift, because in the background, yes, we can have a little bit of a play. We can smoosh those pigments in, and we can make a nice soft gentle feel in the background. But when we come forward, we really want to keep that nice and pure. So having a look at how you can blend and just pop the bloom, the blush on the grape. You can pop the blush on the grape, and let's just start pulling these lights through. I think that's kind of nice, but I want a little bit of orange in there just to schmancy that up as well. Okay. So can you see that? You can see this, the bunch starting to come together. this one over here I really love. I'm going to just show you how we build volume too, is just pulling our strokes the way that the grape grows. I think that is super important. Sometimes painting the way it grows is something that we need to keep in mind. So if it grows up and over, the skin comes up and around, and we want to create that volume of the grape. I'm just going to gently put my finger through that to give it a bit of a just a kiss of volume there, a shadow there, sorry. And then I'm going to start just highlighting and basically working that gradation of dark to light. So that is going to come together quite nicely, I think. So gently just bringing those colors together. I really love how that one just sort of, I like that dark up the back, just showing where all these little grapes are sitting in there together. A little bit of my favorite color, which is 𝗵𝗶𝗁𝗃, which is kind of a bluish color, just dancing over the top, shows that blush kind of feel on the surface of the grape. Can you see that? How schmancy is that? So, and then a little kiss of light. So basically we go through and we build where we see the light. We build the gradation of well, really it's a luminosity. Grapes are almost see-through, aren't they? So I think it's just this gentle layering of color. And quite often when I'm doing grapes, I'll just have it's a nice way to experiment with colors. And we are super lucky that we do have so many different brands of pastels that we can play with. So it's a nice way to learn how all the pastels work with one another, how they play with each other. So just working out which ones are the softest, which ones are the hardest, which ones go over this one and that one. And you know what? I reckon I can see maybe that this one just needs a little where our little stalk is going to connect. What do you think? I kind of feel like that's a segue into moving our eye up into here. And we're just going to start maneuvering the light. The light's just going to hit that tiny
Stephanie,
little
here's a
stem
question.
there. Yes.
Here's a question from Carl. When constructing grapes from back to front, when do you add grape stems at the same time or place the stems in last?
Basically, just like I've done, when an opportunity arises, when I see the stem in this little area here, I will probably just suggest, as I go through here, I will just suggest now, like that. And if you see that at the end, then that's all well and good. But if you don't see that, in the end of the painting, then that's okay as well. I kind of feel like we have to read what we have in front of us and work from there. But yeah, look, it is when the opportunity arises. When I see, can you see the end of this little grape here? To me, that just looks like she's sitting here, and I feel like I need to pop the light on top of that one there. So really, you have to observe all the way through your own painting and go, what am I seeing here? What am I looking at? And when the opportunity arises, then yeah, there's no formula, I suppose, is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
I just think observation is really, really important, that you are understanding what you're painting and why you're painting it. Yeah. And also being open to, if you get a really great, if you get a really good stroke. You know, sometimes you think, oh, and we do it in all mediums. You put a stroke down, you think, oh my gosh, that's amazing. And so I think if we learn to appreciate those strokes and go, oh, I really like what that's doing, let's run with that. And being brave enough to run with that and leave that there and change our composition. Like, so I love that little bright red there. So I'm just going to go, oh, I think that's quite lovely. I may use that as my highlight for where the light's coming in, and I'll overlap a few of those. And this is where my light will start telling the light story.
Margie
Sometimes
May is asking, will you erase these grapes? I don't know.
Will
I don't
I?
understand the question.
I
Will
don't
you erase
understand
them?
that. Sorry.
I
If
assume that she
I
means once you're done with them, will you wipe them out, or can't, if you wanted to erase a grape, let's say you found
absolutely.
one that you didn't like the where it was placed, could you erase it?
Absolutely. So you just grab a little brush, and if you don't like what you've done, you just gently take, this is why it's so perfect for beginners, because you can adjust, readjust, and adjust. It's so forgiving, this medium. So you could erase it if you don't like where you've put something, or you're not sure about a color, or your value is a little bit off. Before I would erase it though, I would look at maybe not erasing, but adjusting. So, you know, if I think, oh, I want to add a little bit more purple, you know, I'm really loving this purple grape hanging down this way, I would just, instead of erasing, I would go, what can I do to pop it over? You know, is there something that I can do to paint over it, you know, instead of erasing? Do you know what I mean? I
Yep.
just kind of think, yeah, I just kind of think we're too quick with erasing and getting rid of something, instead of problem solving and going, okay, well, if I want that there, maybe I can hang that bit there out there. You know, I kind of feel like we need to, before we run for the eraser, think about how you can do it, or what you can do to do it. Yeah.
I want to remind everybody, if you just tuned in, our guest is Stephanie Clark, who's coming to us live from Australia, and it's 2:00 in the morning there.
Yay.
Yay. You are a real
Yay.
trooper for getting up.
Oh no, I love to paint, and honestly, I will paint at any time of the day or night. And we only came home from New York a week ago, so I'm really still on New York time.
Okay. Well, then
I'm still.
that's where I am. I'm in New York.
Oh, okay. Well, it's lovely. I love New York. So I'm going to now pop in where I want my viewer's eye to go. I'm going to really decide, okay, I want this grape to be super orange. I want her to be standing at the front. I want her to really pop out. And I'm going to send my viewer's eye down, sort of down this way, and tell the story all the way down. Now, I'm not sure if how close you can see to my easel, but I really, really think it's so nice to look at the textures that you can create on the surface of the grape. I'm not sure how close you guys get, but yeah, you can see the texture of the grape. And this is where going over and over, just ever so gently, like honestly, it's like a fairy is walking across your page. That's how lightly we touch, and just adjust your values. I need a little bit more dark in here. And you can see if you've lost your darks or you've lost your lights, how easy it is to come in and reiterate those, get those darks back in, get those lights back in. You know, it's always remember the story of what you're trying to say, and basically just tell a story. Oh, look at that pink. Oh, I feel like that pink might be a nice addition as well. Underneath, I'm going to do another couple of just going to pop a couple of little purple ones under there, just to sort of, I don't want too much detail, but I want to lead you down down this side here, down onto that, you know, this bottom side, kind of start moving that along there. I think we need some orange out here. What do you guys reckon? I think some nice oranges out here. Just a suggestion sometimes is nice too. So with this one here, I'm just going to suggest a kiss of light. I'm just going to basically just pull in one behind, and I do love to have one that's, it's not on this one here, but I do love to have one that's just out on its own, like she's been plucked from the bunch to be a bit of a diva. And I think it's nice just to have almost showcase one grape, and you can really, really show the, just going to give her a very small little shadow there. And yeah, it's nice to sort of show exactly how, see how we could just create the shape of that grape. And some grapes are round and some grapes are oblong, and it is nice to just, you know, really play in the color. I think it's one of my favorite things to do. And like I said earlier, it really is very therapeutic to just play with your colors, really just play with your colors. And it's a good way to work out gradation of color, you know, going from dark to light, and learning how to maneuver all your colors around. And I'm just going to pop in. What do you think? I love that little glow. I love this little glow in the middle.
If you guys are digging this, you know what to do. Hearts, thumbs up.
And then just that little.
When you do that, the mediums, YouTube and Facebook and others, will put it out to more people. So if everybody does a thumbs up, it's going to get seen by more people. That's going to be good for Stephanie and for me.
I hope you're enjoying it. That's the main thing.
Oh,
art
yeah.
is
This
just,
is a great
yeah.
demo.
Art is something that, you know, we have to make time every single day to do. It is something that's good for our mental health. It's good for every aspect of our lives. I think we can be way more productive. It gives us thinking time. It's just such a beautiful thing to do. Now I kind of feel like we can highlight some of this and start dancing our lights through. What do you guys think? I reckon we just get a little bit of light. Now, my favorite white ever is Schminky white. And this is just answering, was it Carl? I'm going to now just start putting in some of these. See how this one could attach to this one. And I start creating where I think everything will end up, sort of, yeah, start pulling things together, I guess. But I want you to take notice of, you know, the first movements that I made, these little marks up the back, they are super important because they do the beautiful creation of where the background is, where the light is. And I think it's something that we need to be comfortable with and allow ourselves to make marks that, you know, in the beginning may not look like anything just yet, but have the confidence that yes, they will in the end. You know, trust the process, I guess, is probably the best way to put it. Now, this one here, I'm just going to build a little grape over the top of that one. Look at that. I really think going over that nice little pink might be just the ticket for that one to kind of push her back a little bit.
Somebody in the comments says that you're doing wonderful sleep painting.
Sleep painting. Well, thank you. Apparently, it's official. I can sleep and paint. I'm a long way off sleep, let me tell you. In fact, I will probably stay up for a little while after I finish this and have a little time in my studio. It's a lovely, like I said, it's one of the most therapeutic things that I do paint are grapes. Just that gentle layering and working out what you can, how things fit with each other. I love just thinking, oh, well, I'll try that color over that color. And sometimes, that color doesn't suit over that color and you go back and you adjust it. And, this is how you work out which is which, really. Oh, I like that one too. And you work out what you like and what you don't like, and how heavy-handed you need to be with some pastels and how softly you need to touch other pastels. It is, and like I said, each of them has a character, and some are an absolute pest and some are just perfect. This one, not so much, but that's okay. And just popping those lights in every now and again, just popping those lights in. Just remembering that our light source is coming from the top, so we're just adjusting that light source as we go and just showing our viewer where things are going to sit. I might pop back to these little ones over here and just highlight some of the light just sitting on here. Now, we all know what a grape looks like, and it's even better if you have a bunch of grapes in front of you, of course. But this is where you can start going, okay, well, I think he might have a stem there. Let's just pop in a bit of a stem there. And then we're going to move down into these shadows where we just suggest those little shadows. But yeah, I'm thinking maybe just a kiss of light, just touching that little bit there. Because when we're painting something like this, we don't want to tell the story. We don't want to tell our viewer everything. We want to keep some things secret so that the viewer stays in our painting and discovers. So I'm just going, where would this one attach? Maybe he doesn't attach to anything. Maybe he's just out there on his own and he has, or maybe that little stem tucks behind there. Maybe. What do you think? I reckon that could work. I like how that one's there. Maybe there's something hanging out there. But really, it's a matter of just playing and having a bit of fun with it. Because, what's art if you're not having fun, really? You've got to have fun. Now, pulling one in front of the other is super easy with pastel too, because you can just pop a nice little hard line and you can already see that this one has popped in front of the one behind. So we don't want too much detail. We just want that gentle suggestion of, we really just want that gentle suggestion. I think that's okay. I'm okay with those ones there, I think. I do love a little bit of turquoise, like I said earlier, so I'm just going to dance a little bit of turquoise over the top just to give
Just a little dance. Hey,
just a little.
Joanna is asking, do you have any tips for plein air painting with pastels?
Absolutely. Just don't go too fancy. Just keep it to one box. Don't have 52 boxes of pastels. And I know this from experience. Keep it to a minimum. I take just one box of pastels. And yeah, look, there's some great plein air kits that you can get. And, I would say for plein air painting that one of the most important things is don't get too caught up on detail. Capture the light quickly. But pastels are perfect for it because you've got all your values. Like we said before, you're not mixing colors. You're not, trying to create your, you're not trying to create masterpieces out there. What we're trying to do is capture what you see in front of you. But pastels are so immediate and so beautiful, and I would say absolutely perfect for plein air painting. Absolutely perfect. Yeah. But keep your setup to a minimum is, I guess, would be my suggestion. I take a 𝗖𝗹𝗿𝗶𝗲 box. Oh, here we go. Look, this is the perfect spot. So for those wondering where we start pulling in our little stalks, I'm going to just suggest I might tuck this one here in and give him a bit of a hard line. Just sort of start suggesting that there's one little grape in the dark there. What do you reckon? And it might just catch a kiss of light. I feel like there might be just a kiss of light going down that way. So I always say I won't do that, but then I end up doing it anyway. But I'll say I won't put too much red in that one, but I will, you know. Yeah, that's not too bad. And I think to show the light, we could just highlight. See, the light's coming straight down there. The light will probably hit a kiss just a tiny little bit there. What do you reckon? I think that might be okay. And then we'll just go a little higher value and just smush in some of those. Now, I think we might do one out here that might have a little bit more orange in it. And having them at different angles is really interesting too. It sort of keeps your viewer interested in where things are going, really. Oh, that orange and purple together is just so spandangly, isn't it? Just beautiful. Just beautiful. And I mean, what's not to love? Look how easy pastels are. I think they are. I think they're the best medium, but I'm a little biased, I must say. Okay, so I think we might just be. I love to, when we get down to this section here, I love to just suggest, because this is really the area that I want my viewer to be super interested in. I want them to be interested up in here and having a look at the values and the light and the the luminosity, I suppose, of. Let's just put a kiss just there. I feel like he needs a little, voila, just there. It's one of those things when I paint grapes that the selection of colors can go a little bit haywire. I think, oh, I like that color. Oh, I like that one. And I go a little bit crazy with pulling out different, because you look at it and you think, oh, I really love how that's going to just pop here and pop there, and then you can just pop it all in. It's great. I hope you're all still enjoying this. It's
Yep.
it's just a little, it's almost like it's a slow add, when we're doing grapes, it's a slow glaze of color. It is building. It is like a build. It's like it's not going to happen until the end, but you see it at the beginning, how I just pop in those quick the quick look of, oh yeah, we'll put a few here, a few there, and we start creating. And then it's this slow build of, how much detail do we want to say? How much information do we need to tell our viewer here? I feel like a little spot of orange might be in order there. What do you think? I think that's kind of nice. And I really don't mind a little bit of the darker red. Maybe a kiss of that darker red under here, just to drag your eye down in there. and layer, 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 and we keep layering. Just check your values. One thing that is really important is to make sure that you do have enough darks and lights, of course, and that you have all the way through in your brain that you understand where your light source is coming from, and making sure that throughout the whole painting that you have kept that in mind and you've addressed that all the way through. So that's, that light source is super important, super, super important. Now, I really think, look at that little suggested one down there. I just think a kiss of blue just there. And then we'll just maneuver those, just maneuver that and suggest, sort of almost carve out a little, maybe there's one in there, maybe there's not. But I love that suggestion of something, just maybe, maybe not. Okay. Maybe the light's hitting, maybe it's not quite that bright. So if it's not, in this instance, there's no need to grab the, this is what I was talking about before. There's no need to grab the paintbrush and rub it out. Just go over it and gently knock it back with another color or with another value. And you can, it's such a forgiving medium. It is just beautiful. Okay, let's just give that a kiss of shadow just under there. And maybe.
I hope you
Okay,
guys are
now
digging this. If you are, you know what to do. Likes, hearts, thumbs ups. We've put Stephanie's contact information in the chat if you guys want to follow her.
thank you.
Thank you. You're such a good teacher.
Oh, thank you. That's very kind. Thank you. Listen, I would paint for one person. I would get up at 2:00. I just love to show you how much firstly, how much I love pastels or pastels. And secondly, if anyone wants to paint, come on over.
Yeah, okay. We're all coming over.
Yeah, come on over. Studio's big enough for everybody.
Yep.
It's fine. We'll find a spot.
All right.
It is cold though, let me tell you. After being in New York and being in summer, and then coming back to the first day we were back, it snowed here. So that was a slight shock.
Yeah. Well, those of us who visit in your summer, not your winter.
Yeah, that's for sure. Okay, so I think we might just build one big final grape, and you can see how the story of the light has come through, and just step back and just assess to make sure that you've got everything that you think you should have. I can see there's a little bit of, I just want a little bit more purple down in here. And if you're, I've basically added the colors that I've used the colors that I've used all the way through, because that creates a harmony in our painting. So we can't just snatch and grab and use 50,000 colors, even though it looks like I have. Sorry.
Question. What is the definition of light story, please?
Well, basically the definition is where I want my viewer's eye to go through. So it's the composition of where the light is hitting the subject. So that's probably it, where the light hits the subject. So that's the story of the light. I'm looking to send your eye like all the way down and hitting certain spots. I'm not going to put a highlight, in white on the ones that I don't particularly want you to look at. But the ones I do want you to look at, that's exactly where I'm going to put that story, that light source. Now, this is why pastels are so beautiful. Look how easy it is to just glaze over where we want a little bit of extra light. And this is where my hands are super dirty.
Ah.
So if you want, this is a little trick. If you want a clean finger, pop a glove on, and then gently you can give that a little bit of a blend there. And you can sharpen up some edges. You can go, okay, well, I really just want to suggest that there is a bit of a bench there. So, we might just come through, do a couple of little sharp edges, soften some of those edges back, and maybe even just here, just to show suggestion, really, just to suggest. And I think we might just pop in a little bit of dark just to sort of throw some interest there. And with any bunch of grapes, one of my favorite things, this is honestly, I think, the favorite thing to do. One of my favorite things to do is from where the stalk comes out, just gently give that a little roll, and you get that gorgeous little grape feel.
Yeah.
And
Question
then,
from Peach, who says, can you erase pastels or just obliterate the color with a clean paintbrush, as you mentioned earlier?
you can take them, you can take it off to a point. Like you can rub it into the paper. I often repurpose paper by just rubbing it in and painting over the top. Obviously, there's always going to be some pigment there, but there's lots of ways to repurpose paper. You can spray it with a fixative, you can alcohol it, you can, like wipe it over with alcohol. You can do lots and lots of papers are made to do that. But yeah, absolutely. There's so many options with pastel
And your
and the
reference is
papers.
an actual photo. It's not a painting, right?
No, this is a photo. Yep, it's set up in my studio. These are 2 pastel boxes, and I just put a little bunch of grapes. I'm not sure if anyone has seen the Japanese grapes, the pink grapes. They're Koshu grapes, Koshu. I would have loved to have painted them, but I don't have access to them. I actually told my husband that we have to go to Japan so I can go and see these grapes. And yeah, they're pink. They're the most beautiful grape. And I wanted to paint them, but I couldn't find a reference photo that was copyright free. And so I sent my husband downtown and I said, can you buy me the pinkest grapes that you can find so I can pop in some little pink and grapes, but look them up. They're the most beautiful grape. So there's a very quick little
Very nice.
a very quick little demo on how to paint grapes, how to, with pastel, how to just build the layers, build. And there's a lot of texture on these grapes, which is quite lovely. And then you obviously get to decide whether you want to, I always put my signature in. I love to sign down here, and I will just quickly sign that, and I think we're done.
All right. Well, why don't you come back on camera so we can see you?
All righty. I can't guarantee I don't have stuff on
Everybody,
my
thumbs
phone.
up, applause for Stephanie Clark. Nice job, Stephanie. Just really beautiful job. All right.
Thank
Here she
you.
is, in case you missed her in the beginning.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. You were awesome.
Nice.
And what a trooper to get up at 2:00 in the morning, probably earlier than that, so you can do this for us in Australia. So thank
My
you.
pleasure. My
All right.
pleasure.
Okay. Well, thank you, Stephanie. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Okay. Bye-bye. If you guys think you want to learn pastel, we have a great event coming up in September. It's called Pastel Live. It's just a few weeks out. It's September 18th through 20th. We have some of the world's best pastel artists teaching, and including an essentials day. If you want to learn the basics first, that's an opportunity for you. That's coming up. Just go to pastellive.com/ASL for Art School Live. All right. I want to tell you guys a couple other things. We're going to have a special broadcast with 𝗣𝗶𝗁𝗵𝗃. 𝗣𝗶𝗁𝗵𝗃 has come up with some break free creative rut content, some how to break free of creative rut. And he's also going to show you something that he is doing that nobody knows about, that is kind of new and different for him. And that's coming up on Monday, July 29th. So not too far away. And you just go to streamlineartevents.com/Mac, M-A-C, Pearson. All right. And last but not least, I've got a fall retreat. My fall retreat is called Fall Color Week, and we're doing it in the coast of California this year. And wow, we sold out, but the facility ended up having another event where they ended up with a few seats left. And so we are now able to get 9 people in or more if you want to share rooms. And so, but they won't last long, I suspect. So go to fallcolorweek.com/ASL. Okay, guys, thank you for being here. I'm Eric Rhodes. We do have a free gift for you. That free gift today is 45 pastel pointers from the pros. Just go to pasteltoday.com/ebook. Thanks again to Stephanie Clark. She is a rock star, getting up at 2:00 in the morning. And thank you for tuning in every day. We're here every weekday at 12 noon. If you pick 5 videos from any of our replays on YouTube, pick any 5, where there are hundreds there. You can learn anything in art. And if you do 5 videos, you will gain the confidence that you need, that you can learn to paint anything, guaranteed. All right. Thanks for being here. I'm Eric Rhodes, publisher of Fine Art Connoisseur and Plein Air Magazine. Bye-bye.